Hey, what's up, guys? It's Coach Raph, and I have a special guest today, Erin Jackson. She is the first African American female to win a gold Olympic medal at the 500 meter. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
And,
that is correct.
and among many other things. So you have a lot of accolades, and so I wanted to kind of go through those accolades with you. So I know that you're from Florida,
Yep.
and so I'm gonna try to quiz myself. I know you're from Florida. You went to University of Florida.
I did.
Your master's, I want to say, is in some type of like engineering.
I wish I had a master's.
So bachelor's in engineering.
Bachelor's in, material
Okay.
science engineering.
And then she was also on, hold on, I got it. Special Forces, Fox,
Yep.
right? I think you were like what, second or third place or something like that.
Well, I mean, three of us finished. Three of us passed.
And she
So,
was one
yeah.
that passed.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I was actually in the Navy, so
Oh, very
I was a recon corpsman, so I got to do some of the cool stuff
Yep.
you did. But in comparison, I'm a lot like you. I don't really like heights, and I don't
Right.
like swimming. So
Yeah.
that's like. But I want for like all of my guys out there, I want them to I want you to kind of go over like your accolades when it comes to ice skating, because you're obviously awesome. So when did you start skating?
I've been skating pretty much as long as I can remember, just on roller skates.
Uh-huh.
And then I started on ice actually when I was 24, so kind of a late start.
20.
Yeah.
So you started on ice when you were 24, and then however many years later.
Yeah. Let's see. At the 2022 Olympics, I was 29. So.
You won a gold medal at 29. That's crazy. That's insane. So as far as like your love and passion for the game, like, or actually for skating, is it something that like you just love? Is something that you embraced, or like, I mean, you're still going, so like what's the like caveat to the future of like skating for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've just always enjoyed it. Like, I just love having skates on my feet. I love going fast. I love the people that I meet. I love the places I go. So I don't know, it's just always been something I enjoy. And I want to do it as long as I can. But, of course, I have to start life at some point and not just keep skating in circles forever. But yeah, I'm going to try to ride it out until I'm taken over by all these young kids coming up. So.
All right. So what is it that what like the future holds for you? Like, what is it that you want to do? Do you want to coach? Like when you grow up? Let's just say
Yeah,
what
when I
I
grow
want
up. Yeah, I don't know about coaching specifically. I definitely want to get back into like the tech side of things, get back into engineering, and I'm also going to the community college here in Salt Lake, so I kind of did it backwards.
Oh, okay.
I did the
Gotcha.
university, and now I'm going to community college.
I gotcha.
So I picked up an associate's in computer science, and I'm in the middle of one in kinesiology, and then doing a little like business and finance too. So
I'm with you. I actually got my first bachelor's in exercise science.
Nice.
Never used it. Then I got my bachelor's in psych. Never used. Well, ish. And then my bachelor's in crim. Didn't use it. And then I got my master's, my MBA. Used that. Master's in social work. Used that. Master's in psych. Used that. And then my master's in clinical psychology. Used that.
That's a lot of school.
Yeah, I've been in school forever. But no, I think like as like when you're an athlete and you're doing your sport and like you have love for what you do, then like in the back of your mind, like, okay, maybe I want to do this or maybe I want to do that. So like as far as the places you've been, I know you've placed gold. I want to say, and you have to correct me if I'm wrong, you've placed gold in 2022. Yep. You also in the 500 meter, I think it was in. I don't know if it was in Toronto. You have to correct me if I'm wrong, but you also have silver and bronze, right?
From the Olympics?
Right.
I have one Olympic medal. And then in my other sport, so I was an inline speed skater before I skated on ice.
Okay.
And the highest level we have for inline is the Pan American Games.
Okay.
So I have a silver from my first Pan American Games, and then a gold and a bronze from the most recent one just like a couple months ago.
Shit, that's awesome.
So that was my second Pan American Games.
And then coming up, I think they have, what is it, in January? You guys have, is that the World Olympics, or is that just is that something
that's
different?
a World Cup.
That is the World Cup,
The one
okay.
in Salt Lake City.
Right.
Yep. So the way the ice speed skating season works is we'll have about 5 World Cups, or 5 to 6 World Cups throughout the season.
Gotcha.
And then at the end, we'll have the World Championships. And it's the same even in an Olympic year. Just the one thing that changes is that we switch out the World Championships for the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, each year is all the same. We have the 5 World Cups, 5 to 6 World Cups, and that sort of
is
thing.
awesome.
So maybe that's what you were asking
That
about.
is
with
what I
the-
was asking about. I was talking to Tanner, and he was like, "Yeah, we got the World Cup,
Right,
So
yep.
that's really neat. Like, okay, so that's cool. So, family life. So, your father, is he a big support in pushing
Yep.
you to kind of that's neat. So
Yeah,
what's your
he's pretty
relationship like
awesome.
with your pops?
We're pretty similar. We're both pretty quiet and reserved and just
Okay.
like being
Yeah.
chill, I guess. Yeah, he's a super quiet guy, but he's really awesome.
It's awesome.
He moved out to Salt Lake City probably like 2.5 years ago now.
Okay.
So he's here, and yeah, Salt Lake
Alright.
City's home now. 'Cause,
That's neat. And so all the places, I mean, obviously ice skating has taken you around the world. Where have you been?
ooh,
Like some of the places you've been.
some of the places. All right, yeah, it's a big list, I guess.
I know you've been to China.
I've been to China. I guess we'll start in Asia. China,
Okay.
Korea, Japan, Taiwan.
I've been at a couple of the. Where were you
Yeah.
at when you were in Korea?
Korea, Pyeongchang for the 2018 Olympics.
Okay.
Yep.
I was in Busan.
Oh.
Didn't care for it much. But
Just watched that movie, Train to Busan.
yeah. Yeah, Busan was different.
Yeah.
And then where were you in Tokyo? Or were you in Tokyo when you were in Japan or
We flew through Tokyo, but I've been to Obihiro twice. It's like on the North
Okay.
Island in
Gotcha.
Hokkaido. And then I've been to Tomakomai, which I think is also on the North Island.
Yeah.
And
Man.
I think that's it.
Been to
Yeah.
Kadena, there's an Air Force base there. Sasebo, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. I've been to Tokyo and Sasebo and Okinawa.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been all through Japan. Okay, so and then you said where else? You said
In Asia,
yes.
Taiwan, went to
Taiwan.
Kaohsiung.
Haven't been to Taiwan. Okay, gotcha. You ever been to the Philippines?
No,
No. Okay.
I've never been to like the islands or
All
anything
right,
like that.
cool. And then Canada. You've been to Canada,
Yep,
right?
I've been to Canada a few times.
Okay,
Yep, that's our next international stop. We go to Quebec, and then we have the World Championships in Calgary.
In Calgary. Okay. That's what's up. Now, like, there's a lot of kids that look up to you and stuff like that that may want to skate. I mean, what would you tell the 7 or 8-year-old that's like getting on ice for the first time? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that want to get to your level as far as like training and eating, because I know there's like a lot that goes into being.
Yep.
I've seen you like train, but
Yep.
what would you tell that kid that's out there that's like, hey, I want to be like Erin?
Yeah, I mean, goal setting is awesome, right? So if you're a new kid who's just like wanting to start out on skating, on skates and things like that, it's kind of a big goal to think like, oh, I want to go to the Olympics. you
Right,
know?
right,
So maybe
right.
break it down a little bit. I always say take that first step.
Okay.
Because when you try to think about these goals as like these big overarching things, it can kind of be overwhelming.
Right.
But if you just think, I just want to take the first step, I want to get some skates, I want to go take
Yeah.
my first step onto the ice, then you can just kind of go from there and it gets the ball
That's
rolling.
neat. No, well, skating. That's another question I have like within itself. When you first left or transitioned from like skates to ice skating, was it extremely difficult? Like learning
It was,
just
yeah. There's
okay.
a pretty cool video of like my first steps on the ice, and it's just terrible. Yeah,
Okay.
just
Is
complete
it-
Bambi? Yeah.
Is it similar in any way?
I mean, they're both types of skating, but the techniques are really different.
Okay.
So the past couple years, I've been switching back and forth between inline and ice, like going to the competitions kind of back to back.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, it's getting easier the more I switch, but
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, the techniques are really different.
Really
so it's
different.
like I go back to inlines and have to relearn how to do that. Come back to ice and have to relearn how to do that.
And how often are you doing that?
Just in the summer usually.
Okay.
Like I'll do 3 or 4 inline races kind of in the summer and then the early ice season.
Okay.
And then I have to stop because then it gets to a point where it's like I can't afford to
Yeah,
switch back and forth like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's like some of like we will just say like three people that are like extremely important outside of your dad.
Okay.
That are like inspirational like in your life currently.
I feel like a lot of people because I don't know, I draw on inspiration from it can be like a little kid who's out there just
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
having the courage to skate for the first time. Like I don't know, I think like everyone inspires me, but I guess specifically my coaches have always been super awesome. I feel like that's where I've been really fortunate. So
Yeah.
my first coach on inlines, Renee Hildebrand, she has raised so many world champions and Olympians, and there are like 4 or 5 of us out here in Salt Lake who all came from the same city with the same
Really?
coach, and we all went to the Olympics together. And so it says a lot about her. Like, she's doing
go.
something right.
Yeah, for
to have so many of
sure.
us out here.
For sure.
So yeah, Renee Hildebrand, she'll be out here for the World Cup, so it'll be cool to see her again.
Okay.
And then my current coach on ice, Ryan Chimabukuro, he's amazing as well. He's had several Olympic gold medalists that he's
that's
raised,
awesome.
and like both of my coaches, they're different because one coach is on inlines, one coach is on ice.
Yeah.
But it's just like there are so many similarities between them, and I think that's why we
That's
click so
cool.
well together.
That is so cool. That is so cool. If you were to pick another sport outside of skating, what would it be?
Let's see. It might be 2 different answers, like just picking one for fun or picking one that I think I'd be good at. Because I'm not very athletic.
What?
I'm terribly unathletic.
You could have tricked me. Seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, what would it be? Because I'm like, maybe you do track. I mean, you were on,
Now I'd probably say track. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish I was good enough to be a track star. Then I wouldn't be a speed skater.
Okay.
I ran track and field for about 1.5 years in high school.
Okay.
But yeah, I hated running at the time.
Yeah.
But then I moved out to Salt Lake City and discovered biking, and I was like, I hate that even more. So now I like running.
You don't like biking?
No, I just crash a lot.
Are you a hiking type person or?
I like hikes.
Like hikes?
Leisurely hikes.
I didn't
Yeah.
like hikes until I moved to Utah, and I'm still kind of. I think it's kind of. I'm still not crazy about
No?
hikes. No, like the scenery, and I can drive.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever.
I feel like I like anything with the right group of people. So we used to go on these team hikes, and we'd bring our dogs and everything, and just kind of like chit chat and walk around.
Absolutely.
So as long as we don't have too many people who are really eager and want to walk super fast, then I'm happy.
So you have dogs.
Yep.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have a pit mix, and her name is Winnie, and she's the sweetest little angel. And then I
Okay.
have a little fluff ball. He's
Yeah.
some weird hypoallergenic mix of dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's dope.
he's like 5 months old. So
I
he's
have
new.
2 Bernedoodles. They're like, yeah, they're gonna be hyperallergenic. Not at all. They
No?
shed like crazy. So
Oh.
should give them back. No, I'm keeping all of them. So okay, with that, you were on American Forces, and so kind of walk me through how tough that was for you.
Oh, so tough. So, I joke about not being athletic, but I do have like a base level of like cardio and athleticism. And I feel like that's what kind of got me through Special Forces.
Yeah.
Because it was super hard, like physically, mentally, emotionally. So to be able to take a little bit off the physical side, I feel is like what kind of, kept me going. But yeah, it was just very scary, very hard, because I'm scared of
it.
everything. Like my biggest fears are like heights and water, and it's like every
I'm
day
with
we
you.
were like doing heights over water or something
Yeah.
like that, or in the water.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It's real, watching. I've seen you on there, and they're, in the military, especially in the Navy, they have like when you're in boot camp, they have this like, and you have to go all the way up and jump off, and I mean I don't even know. It has to be over 20, 30 feet, and there's a thing called NQS. It's like not qualified for swimming, and I was in QS for like a long time.
Oh,
It was,
yeah.
and then when I finally passed my swim, I was doing backstroke.
Yeah.
So that was kind of crazy, but like it is. I mean, I don't know if you would agree, but I think a lot of when you were going through all the different things that you were doing on the show, I think a lot of it is just mental.
Yep.
And that's how it is when you're in boot camp and they're yelling at you, and and when you actually like get into the service and you're actually working with special forces groups, it is mental.
Yep.
A lot of it is mental. And believe it or not, a lot of the time in special forces, you don't do a lot of that stuff. I mean,
Right.
unless, it calls for it, but
Yeah.
it is tough because, I mean, especially at night, who wants to, jump in the ocean at night? Like,
Yeah.
not me, but I thought that was pretty cool. So are you the only child? You have siblings or what?
I have an older half brother.
Okay.
Yep.
Older brother. So I know he's like rooting for you, like, hey, I go, sis. Where's your favorite place to skate? In competition, I guess.
Yeah, probably the Netherlands, just because it's a really big skating country.
Okay.
The stands are always full, and I don't know, it's just
Yeah.
a packed house with a bunch of people who are really excited about the sport. So that's always fun.
Are,
Good
do, your,
atmosphere.
do your times fluctuate from like different elevation?
Yep.
Okay. So where is your best times?
Here in Salt Lake City.
Here in Salt Lake. Okay.
Yeah, we have the fastest ice. So.
Fast as ice. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to skate, let's say like in Texas, right? Your times will reflect the elevation as far as
Right,
like.
yeah.
Okay, that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
That
there
is
are
awesome.
like a few factors, but mostly elevation.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so another thing is like I was learning about like I thought that like skates were like, hey, you can just go not to Foot Locker, but like, hey, I need a size, 10, whatever.
Yeah.
I found out that it's actually custom to your
Yeah.
foot. So are you changing blades or getting used to like different skates as you skate, or you just have the brand that you like and then that's it? Like,
Yep, and they're super expensive. So you don't
Really?
want to go out and buy a whole bunch and switch them out. So yeah, I've got my one pair of boots. I had to fly to New York to get them like custom molded, and then it takes
Okay.
like several months to get them.
Wow.
So yeah, I've got my set of boots, and then the blades. Some people use different
Yeah.
blades for different races or things like that, but I just have my one set, and then we have a backup set in case anything happens.
Huh. So if you were to get like a new pair of skates and hit the ice, it may feel completely different
yeah.
than so you typically like to keep the same skates
Right.
throughout your career. Okay.
And your same skates can feel different as well. I mean, not through your whole career. The boots normally last like maybe an Olympic cycle, so like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So you will need to get new boots at some point, and
Yeah.
you typically want to wait until like right after the Olympics so that you have like
Gotcha.
the whole quad to get used to them.
Gotcha.
What was I saying before that?
About the boot, or lasting for like 5 months or whatever.
That yeah, it feels different when you switch things, but it can also feel different just when you get like your blades maintained.
Okay.
Like we just came back from the first half of the World Cup circuit, so we take our skates to our blade tech, and then they
Right.
check and make sure our blades are good.
Okay.
And then there are like two. I mean, not to get too technical, but
Yeah.
the main two things with the blade is like the bend, like how much it curves
Okay.
into the corner, and then the rock, which is like the angle on the bottom, like the amount of blade
like
you
the
have in contact with,
with
the
the
ice.
ice.
Yeah.
Is it technically? I think it's like, so when you're ice skating, you're actually like skating on a bead of water, right? Technically,
Sort of,
right?
yeah. Like the blade melts the ice as it glides
Right.
across. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Like when you think about like the scientific thing. I mean, I'm a huge Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't know if
Okay.
you know what that is, but he's what do you call it?
Physicist.
Physicist, yes. And so he was talking about it one day, and I was like, oh, didn't know that. But I see you guys like when y'all are training, and I see like when you guys are like moving your hands, but then like, and then you have the wide stance where it's like, because you have a really cool takeoff. Like it looks
yeah.
like something from a video game, but it's like, and then you start taking off, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
But I noticed that like you guys kind of start off wide, but then when you're going around the oval, it's like you put one foot in. That is so neat. Did that take like a lot of time to learn, or did you already have like those skills on inline?
Right. I had, I guess, similar skills from inline.
Okay.
Then you have to learn, like a different lean, kind of like sort of different mechanics and things like that.
Okay.
And I guess maybe one way that might help you like imagine it is like the way I skated on inlines. When I got tired, my quads would hurt.
Okay.
But the way I skate on ice, when I get tired, it's like your hamstrings and glutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's like kind of pushing from a different part of your body, and your
Okay.
back is in a bit of a different position.
Gotcha.
It's not the same for everyone. Like different people have different techniques on inlines.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I skated on inlines, I had to change a lot of things to skate on ice.
Gotcha. And then like it's like a good time where you can qualify. I mean, you've qualified, but it could be milliseconds
Yep.
that'll stop you from getting like other people like on the team.
Yep.
I think that's crazy.
I think I lost gold. When was that? Our third World Cup, I think it was in Norway. I lost gold by 0.02 of a second. So
Really?
it's just
How do you train for that? Like,
have to be on your A game all the time.
For real.
No mistakes. Yeah.
What's your diet like?
Diet? I don't have like a super strict diet.
You don't?
No, I just try not to eat too much junk.
Oh, that's the problem that I have. I am I like cakes and cookies and all that stuff. Like
I just had like 3
don't be
cookies
like me.
right after practice. So.
For real. No, I love the finer things in life.
Yeah.
If it comes to candy, I had a real problem. But it's crazy. I've like as I've gotten a little older, I'm like I kind of cut it back. But I know this sounds crazy. Like my favorite candy is, it's not even really candy. It's a mint. You like Chick-fil-A, right? Mm-hmm. They have these little white dinner mints. I love dinner mints. I don't know why. But they're good. Hunter knows.
Yeah.
They're
Are
good.
they round?
Yeah, they're like round little. Gotta get you some. I gotta get you some dinner mints. What size shoe do you wear, by the way?
8.
You're size 8? Really?
Yeah.
All right. Keep track of that.
I
Have to
used to
hook
be a
her up.
6.5, and then I grew at the ripe old age of 27, 28.
Your
I
feet-
grew an inch taller, and my feet got bigger.
Really? Get out. That's crazy. So, for you have a ton of fans. What is one thing your fans don't know about you?
Oh. Let's see. Well, I know something that all my friends know about me is just that
Yeah.
I can sleep anywhere, anytime.
Really? Just.
I think I'm probably borderline narcoleptic, but yeah, I feel like sleepiness is like a personality trait of mine.
Yeah,
but-
for real. You're just like, I'm out. Okay, so there's this thing that I do. I do it with like everybody that pretty much comes on the show. It's called Two Truths and a Cap. And so I have to figure out which one's the cap, the lie,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And so, yeah, you're gonna pretty much tell me 3 things, and I have to figure out the life. So, 2 truths and a cap.
All right.
All
I
right.
think on this a second.
So I'll give you an example. So, I played football at Duke. I played football at Michigan. I played football at USC. You guess. Which one's cap?
Michigan.
Nope. I actually played at Michigan.
Okay.
The other 2 were cap. But
Oh, so that.
so yeah. But
right.
I gave you 2 caps and a truth. But you
Okay.
get So yeah. So you give me 2 truths and a cap, and I have to figure out the cap.
All right. Give me a second. Oh boy.
Let's go.
I gotta think of the lie now.
Yeah. All right.
I think I got my 2 truths.
Okay. I'm gonna put the Alec Trebek on. Do 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 do.
So it's gotta be something that we haven't even talked about yet. I've flown in a fighter jet.
Okay.
I gotta figure out the order I want to tell you then. I was a beauty pageant kid,
Okay.
and I was on the soccer team.
You was on the soccer team as cap.
How do you know?
Because the other 2 sound like it's the truth. Say it could have been. No, seriously. I'm right.
You're right.
Yeah. You said you don't like to run.
Oh yeah, that is a lot of running. Yeah.
I don't like to run either. So unless I'm sprinting to go somewhere, but yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, and I've never been on a swim team, but I was like, but that'll be like the only like
Sure.
not thing,
Nothing.
and then you would know. But yeah, I guess you
All
would.
right, cool.
Because I have been on a swim team,
Yeah.
but since then I feel like I just completely forgot how to swim. So.
Yeah. How many people get you mixed up with Simone Biles?
Oh, none.
None, really?
Yeah.
Have you ever met her in real life? You guys are like, well, she's shorter than you. Like you're 5'2".
I'm 5'4/5'5".
Okay, gotcha.
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you like to do in your pastime?
Let's see. Well, I mean, Utah is pretty cool because there's like, I mean, I don't know. I do a lot more things here than I did
Back
in
home?
Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like I used to go climbing here. I mean,
Huh?
it's like
Climbing is-
once we got around the Olympic time, like I kind of stopped doing a lot of
So,
things just
yeah.
to like really focus. So need to get back into everything I was doing. But yeah, I would go climbing. I'd go paddle boarding, just out into the water. Let's see. Hiking.
Hiking? Hiking. Okay. You fish?
No, my brother fishes.
I love to fish.
Yeah.
In fact, when I was in Florida, I used to. There's a fish. It's called the shook or schnook or something like that. It's a native fish of Florida, and oh my God, I like got one. I'm like happy, and I'm like I'm about to go tear this up. I go to put my fishing pole up, and I kid you not, bird came down, took it away.
Oh, no.
Like yeah, Florida for you. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. You miss home? No,
mean,
no.
I miss some things, but
Yeah.
not enough to like move back there. Yeah,
So-
I don't miss the humidity.
Yeah.
And then one thing that I forgot, I don't know how I could forget pickleball. It's my favorite thing. So.
Dude, we have pickleball.
Yeah.
We
Here?
have, yeah. I have to get you down
Yeah.
here and see what you got. I'm actually all right. I'm not like great. I don't suck, but I'm all right.
Yeah.
I got learned from my older guy. He's like, oh, stay out the kitchen. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
gotcha. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So I mean, you have this life that I think is pretty awesome. Obviously, you've created this great life for yourself. Obviously, hard work pays off and stuff like that. I think it's awesome. You have a great relationship with your father, and I think that as you continue to blossom in your career, there's a lot of people that look up to you, and that's another thing. Like you're out there. People are like you're inspiring and motivating, and I think that's pretty awesome. So is Utah your home now, or what?
At least for now, like through the next Olympics, and then we'll see if I want to continue on for the one after that. I was hoping we'd get Salt Lake 2030, then for sure I'd be in for another 4, but yeah, we'll just see kind of like what next steps are.
Where would you go if you weren't here?
It's open, yeah.
Open, okay, all right.
Wherever I can find a good job.
Good job, okay.
Maybe like biomechanics or something like that.
You're smart. Biomechanics, that's big stuff. So I don't know. I think I don't know. I feel like a lot of high schoolers, and you probably know people yourself, and even like people that are like freshmen and sophomores in college are like undecided, because there's so many different things that you can do. I feel like if you enjoy what you do, it's not work, right? And so like my thing is like I work with adults as well, but I spend a lot of time with high school age kids, and also like freshmen, sophomores in college. And one of the things is they're always kind of like, yeah, I don't know what I want to do. Or they're like, yeah, I wanted to do this. And then, you know what I mean? It's kind of like picking up the MCAT. I picked up the MCAT and I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But I ended up going to school just as long. So I think that's another thing. What does your support system look like out here in Utah?
Yeah, I mean, it's great, especially having my dad here, and we're all friends on the team. Everyone's great. We all get along. So
It's awesome.
Got a lot of good mentors there. So.
Yeah, no, it's, that was my first time to the Oval, and I've been here for like, it'll be 6 years next year. First time to the Oval, so I didn't even know it was there. And I've been to like the high school that was like across. I had a kid that went to that school, and I was just kind of like, cool. And then Tanner was like, he's like, hey man, that's Erin. I was like, what? That's so dope. And so I don't know, I'm a huge fan. I hope you kill it this winter, well, it's still winter.
Yeah.
January what? When it January
26th to the 28th.
I hope you kill it. I'm gonna be on the sideline. I'm gonna be rooting. You're lucky you don't have a jersey. I'd buy one and put it on. But I'm a huge fan of sneakers. One of the things I'm gonna do for you, I didn't bring it today because I didn't know your size.
Oh, okay.
So now that I know you're size 8, I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna hook you up with some shoes.
Perfect.
And so
then
this
I can have
is
some fashion.
you got fashion. What you talking about? You got the U.S. gear.
Fashion.
You got the U.S. gear. I actually think the U.S. like jackets are pretty dope. That's dope. And I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you, Erin. I look up to you. I think you're awesome, and what you've done as a woman, even as a black woman. Race doesn't really matter, but just as a woman, I think it's awesome. But the reason I put first African American woman to win a gold medal, that's huge. You're the first. Like that's huge. And so you're setting the tone for all the people that are coming after you. And it doesn't matter whether they're black, white, or whatever. It's just that it's a beautiful road that you've paved down. And so I want to give you your flowers.
Thank you.
They're invisible, but I'll get you some real ones.
I don't know. I feel like I've kind of dropped the ball though, because my goal, starting with the Olympic year, was to like start an organization, like something to get more people involved in the sport, like especially underprivileged minorities, things like that. So yeah, that was my big goal, was to like start an organization, and I haven't done it yet. Yet. Post-Olympic year was insane for me, so I didn't really have any time.
Oh, it's okay.
But I need to get that going.
Because it's things that were in the scene were once in the unseen.
Yeah.
So you can still do that. And the thing is it always takes a village to get people together.
Yeah.
And so I'll help you. I know people that do all kinds of things, that have organizations, and we can still make that work. So This is Coach Raph. I have the wonderful Erin Jackson, and this has been awesome. This is the Christmas Eve special, and this is Coach Raph, out.